Okay, so we actually just recently gained the ability to use advanced training, as you just saw there popping up on the side. That is something that we can check out here at our research terminal. Let's take a look. I'm not entirely sure what category it falls under. Why don't we take a quick look here? Let's see, it's definitely not a weapon upgrade. Probably not one of these armor upgrades either. Probably not a ship enhancement either. My guess is it's a prototype. So, advanced training. Through intensive training, Shepard can learn to use a single bonus power. Obtaining more loyal squad members will increase the number of powers available for Shepard. Shepard can complete this research project multiple times. Each time the project is completed, Shepard selects a new bonus power, and any points already spent transfer to the newly selected bonus power. So basically, of course, having just completed Zaid's loyalty mission means that if we were to do this, we could gain the power that Zaid gets when he completes his loyalty mission, that being his Inferno Grenade. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that we probably will not use advanced training to do that just yet. However, this is, yes, quite literally a new skill that becomes available to us, so it is definitely something that we'll be looking to do soon. We just like to be a little bit pickier in terms of which power we choose to add on, because we can only do one at a time. But as it says here, at any point in time, if we're willing to invest an extra 5,000 EZO, we can switch over to someone else's bonus power. And again, the way that you unlock the bonus powers is by completing loyalty missions, and each character has their own specified bonus power. And so at the moment, we only have one available to us. It's the one that we're getting from Zaid, because he's of course the only person whose loyalty mission we've completed at this stage. But as we do more of those, we'll have more options, and I think powers that are probably a better fit for our character. So for that reason, we'll hold off for now, but that is certainly at least worth noting, and definitely something we'll be paying attention to a little bit later on. Let's see, we've been looking at the Eviscerator Shotgun well, and we've been saying, no thanks. Other stuff, we've been also picking up several of our heavy weapons, new heavy weapons, what with the missile launcher and the Cain. Haven't really gotten the chance to use either of those yet, but I was thinking we might get the chance to do that soon. And even the Avalanche might be worth considering in the not-so-distant future. So those are all things that are at least the types of stuff we should keep in the back of our mind as things we would consider doing in the future. But speaking of heavy weapons, I was thinking that now might not be a bad time to try again go with the Eclipse Smuggling Depot. Remember, this was the mission in which we saw the 3 Yammer mechs, the big mechs that are usually bosses or mini-bosses in previous missions that we've encountered. And there were 3 of them. They were destroying a whole bunch of crates, and there were, I think, 20 crates at the beginning of the mission, and basically, the longer you take to take down those mechs, the more of those crates they destroy. And your rewards at the end of the mission are based on how many crates are remaining once you take down all the mechs. So that is reason to try to take them down as quickly as possible so that you maximize your return at the end of the mission. And so I was saying, I mean, we tried going in it. I was saying initially, not sure we had the best setup for it. They had started to destroy some crates, and then we even just died on the mission. We said, let's come back to this on a later occasion when we're a little bit more powerful. And I think that picking up some new heavy weapons is perhaps just what we need to make that work. So I think we give this a shot here. As a reminder, it is in the Far Yar system. I think we should get pop up here as we open up our galaxy map. So let's see. I think, of course, we're going to have to get out of here where Zoria is, because we've been there, done that. Remind me, though, where exactly the mass relay is. Over here. And, okay, we're looking fine from a fuel standpoint, so that should be good. So now let's head over to our mass relay, and we might even want to refuel here. I was also thinking, I did a quick double check. You may remember I was talking previously about how, technically speaking, there is a finite, or an exact number you can figure out as to exactly how many resources you need when it comes to platinum, palladium, iridium, EZO, and so forth. And that is basically, assuming that you pick up all the resources that you can get from various missions, that is a way of knowing, okay, this is where you should draw the line when it comes to scanning stuff. And It's a little hard to tell if we are at that number just yet, because we have, of course, sure, done a fair bit of scanning, yes, and done some of those missions. However, so that makes it kind of hard to tell, okay, like, well, how many exactly did we get from scanning versus the other missions? And so it's kind of hard to tell, well, how far along in the scanning process are we really versus from completing missions. And then also, we've spent some of those resources on research upgrades already, and so a little bit hard to gauge exactly where we stand on that front, but it looks like we are pretty darn close to being where we need to be. So for that reason, I think we theorized it, that perhaps we've done all the scanning we need to do at this stage, because we were pretty aggressive with it early, and I think that in double-checking that, I have more or less confirmed that that is in fact the case. Certainly, I think, at least with EZO specifically, I think we are definitely in the clear there, and then with other resources, if we aren't there already, we are very close. So, let's see. We are looking at, is it the secured smuggled cargo? I believe this is it. Let's see. Yeah, Faryar. Exactly. This is where we're looking to go. And so you're asking yourself, well, Lids, what has changed between the last time we attempted this mission and now? And the answer is, yes, of course, we've leveled up once or twice, so we're, in theory, a little bit stronger there. But the big thing, as I was hinting at before, is absolutely those heavy weapons, because we haven't used much of any of them, really, thus far. However, in particular with some of the ones that we have unlocked recently, there are very specific situations in which they can be huge in helping carry out what would otherwise be much more complicated missions. So let's land. And in this case, it shouldn't really matter who we're taking with us, but let's see. Does it matter at all? I mean, I suppose Miranda gives us some passive squad health, just in case we end up getting in a firefight. But if everything goes according to plan, then hopefully that will not be relevant. So then, I mean, similarly, we do need to actually fight these mechs. Then Zaid might be the best option because he has the most weapon damage at this stage. So let's go for it. And we did, of course, level. So that does mean we have a few more points to spend here. And at this stage, we can upgrade our pull, and in doing so, increase the duration by an additional 2 seconds. So that's not bad from a crowd control standpoint. Not sure it's going to make a huge difference in this mission here specifically. But, you know, perhaps even for that reason, could be worth waiting to get to Charge 4. We were talking previously about how that was initially what we had planned, was to get Charge 4 before going to Shockwave 2 and getting Pull 1. But then we accidentally spent some points and unlocked Shockwave and said, alright, well, now that we've done that, might as well throw a point into Pull. But, I mean, now that we at least have access to Pull, I mean, yes, sure, the incremental upgrades do help, but we have the base Pull ability, which is certainly a pretty big tool to have, even at level 1. So we might wait for Charge 4 in that case. Look at our other squad mates, though. Let's see, for Zaid, we have only 1 point here. And I'm thinking the next thing for him will likely be further upgrading his Mercenary Veteran ability for additional health and weapon damage. So right now it's actually only 12.5, which is not that much, but once we start getting up to certainly rank 3 and rank 4, that's going to become a huge number. And for Miranda, it's been a little while since we last used you, and we do have enough points to upgrade your Overload, which is in many cases the reason why we've been taking you on missions, because that is great for shield defenses. Let's see, when we upgrade it, in addition to massive damage on shields and synthetic enemies, Overload now briefly stuns synthetic foes. If the target's resistances are down. That means we'll have to get rid of defensive layers like shields, barriers, and armor. Like, mostly going to be armor and shields when it comes to synthetics, but that's not a bad tool to have. The stun length is 3 seconds there, which is, I mean, bear in mind, our cooldown on pull is 5. Is 5. Or no, it's 3, and the duration is 5. So that means that that is basically enough of a stun duration for us to get off an additional pull, which is pretty significant. pretty significant. That should be a nice crowd controlling combo. So let's definitely take that. And then I think when it comes to Miranda, we're probably just going to be going all-out overload, all-out warp here. So both just such powerful abilities. So good for shields, so good for armor, and actually barriers as well, but that hasn't been terribly relevant because we haven't run into too many barriered enemies just yet. So I think that means we're pretty good here. And the key thing, though, the biggest thing, is choosing our weapons here, specifically our heavy weapons. As I was saying, this was the thing that I think is going to be the biggest difference maker specifically on this mission. There are a couple of options here in terms of ways we can, exploit is maybe a strong word, but, you know, find a much easier way to complete this mission with all of the crates still intact, because again, that means we get more rewards at the end of the day, and so, you know, investing in a heavy weapon we could pay off that investment from this alone. And I was talking about how I really want to try out the Cain, and I think this is one such example where I'd like to see us test out the Cain here. So, as a reminder, the M920 Cain, the effectiveness and efficiency of Mass Effect-based weapon technology, has rendered large-scale deployments of highly explosive weaponry all but obsolete in infantry weapons. Normandy's scientists have prototyped a modified version of traditional high-explosive rounds that is applied to a 25-gram slug. I mean, it sounds like nothing, but I think the results will speak for themselves, though. When accelerated to 5 kilometers per second, the round is devastating. Though a technically inaccurate label, the prototype weapon is nicknamed the Nuke Launcher, and its high explosive matrix generates an archetypical mushroom cloud on impact. Inflicts high damage with a large area of effect, very effective against armor, shields, and barriers. So this is our secret weapon here, without a doubt. We'll definitely be using that. There is also a way in which we can make it work with a missile launcher. It's a little more complicated, though potentially a little more reliable. The Cain is it is a little bit inconsistent, but when it works, the effects are just amazing. So I think we'll try on the Cain, and then if things go catastrophically wrong, then we may try again. If we die, we may reload, try again, and revert to using the missile launcher and try that approach instead. So that's our plan B. But I think we'll try the Cain here, and I'm hoping that we can show just how effective that can be. And then, did we get any new options for Zaid? Unfortunately not. And Miranda, of course, we'll keep her with the Carnifex, but otherwise we should be good. So we've been here before. We have tried this previously. We have those 3 mechs, so we have to take them out before they start breaking too many of those crates, because otherwise our war will be significantly less. So, when you stop those heavy mechs, let's deliberately take out the Cain. It does look pretty cool. Alright, so one thing to note about this weapon is it does take, I believe, a somewhat significant amount of charge-up time before it actually activates. And you're asking yourself, Lids, why are you just being all pokey over here? I do not believe that the mechs actually start destroying crates until we get a little bit further down. So we should be safe for now, but as soon as we round this corner, we're going to want to get ready to take them out. And we are going to perhaps want to preemptively start charging up this weapon, because as I said, it does have that charge-up time. So here goes nothing. There it goes. And, so that's the Cain. And, all of them are dead. So, that's why the Cain's good. Also, there is a gunship here that I think we technically can shoot. We're not gonna use the Cain on it, but out of curiosity. Does that do anything? I think you can shoot it down if you specifically target it with the Cain. But, so we have successfully taken down all of the mechs with all the 20 crates intact, as you might imagine, because we basically instantly demolished them. But, that is why the Cain is so effective, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to prioritize getting that fairly early, and one of the reasons why I think, despite, of course, costing us a little bit of resources to get the Cain, it has more or less paid itself off from that one mission alone. Let's see. We have a little log here. Enemy ship spotted in orbit. IFF ID confirmed. Cerberus. Beginning farewell protocol. Farewell protocol is an interesting protocol name. Engaging security systems. Destroy command received. Initiating cleanup routine. Routine initiated. Activating mech security. Mech security activated. Locking access to terminals. Locked. Farewell protocol complete. So, it is basically activating the mechs and locking up all their stuff is the quote-unquote farewell protocol. Well, the other thing worth noting is you may be asking yourself, well, Lids, how can you just blow up this entire place and not destroy some of the crates? Yeah, only the mechs that we are shooting at are capable of destroying the crates. Your weapon fire does not affect it at all. Take some ESO. Take 100 credits worth of medkits, and then I think there is still a little bit more around here that we might be able to pick up. I think there was some on that other platform on the opposite side. But, yeah. So that is the dramatic difference between using it, or trying to complete this mission at the beginning, very beginning, before you have this weapon, and once you have the Cain. There is obviously this thing over here. I don't remember what it does, so let's loot over on this side first, just in case. So I would like to get those power cells to, well, restock on some of our heavy weapon ammo, because as you can see, so we started with, I believe it was 145 Cain weapon ammo, and it uses 100 whenever we use it. So that means we can only use one shot of it. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference if we're on 45 out of 100. We only get 18 heavy weapon ammo back there. So that may be the first time we've actually picked up a heavy weapon ammo crate and actually gotten heavy weapon ammo rather than just the credits out of it. So there you see, it does not necessarily mean that you're just getting everything back there. Is there anything on this side? Doesn't look like it. So let's check out that little access thing in the middle here. And then we'll head out. As you can see, it's prompting us to leave because, well, we finished the mission in approximately 10 seconds, or at least once we started walking over there. Let's access this. Let's see. Had to perform another full maintenance check. Sand keeps getting into our equipment, increasing the frequency of system checks. We have to be ready to shut this place down if someone spots us from orbit. Well, I'm afraid we did. And that does appear to be everything. So I think we're good to go here. Let's head back. And that made one of the more difficult missions, at least to complete in an optimized fashion, into, well, a very, very easy mission. Of course, we did have to break out a heavy weapon for the first time in basically ever, but I think it was worthwhile. We got 20 out of 20 crates saved, got 125 experience, easiest 125 experience we've ever gotten, and because of us saving all the crates, we got the full 7,500 credits, and I believe basically you take a penalty to that number for however many crates get destroyed. I forget what the number is per crate, but I think it's such that might be if all the crates get destroyed, you get 0 credits? Something like that, perhaps. And then a little bit of ESO as well. Alright, so
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
we do have a new message. Let's see what it's all about. Nice work on Daratar. Is that where we just were? I assume so. Nice work. We knew Eclipse was hiding valuable cargo on Daratar, but we couldn't land without fear of their mercs destroying the crates. We've wired the credits into your account. Glad to have you with us, Shepard, from Cerberus Command. Okay. Worked out pretty well. First try, right? Sort of, kind of, but not really, exactly. Let's see, did we talk to Kelly after going on Zaid's loyalty mission? I was wondering if perhaps she might have an update on Zaid for that reason.
That Kasumi is an interesting addition to the crew. I can see why she's good at her work. She never reveals anything meaningful about herself. It's all on the surface. It'll be a challenge getting to know who she really is. Anyway, how may I help you, Commander?
Okay, I was not expecting you to give us a whole bunch of insights on Kasumi. I was expecting more so from Zaid, or about Zaid, but okay. Maybe we can press for info about Zaid still, though?
Is there anything I should know?
Nothing right now. Anything else, Commander?
Or maybe not.
Do you have a moment to talk?
I always have time for you, Commander.
But doesn't
I
look
better
like
go.
it.
Okay.
And if
Maybe
we
we'll
talk to
later.
you again? Maybe? Stuff about Zaid? Question mark?
How may I help you, Commander?
Nope.
That'll be all.
I'll
An
be
attempt
here
was
if you
made.
need anything.
Okay, so, in that case, we can check another one off of our assignments list, which is now growing quite short. We just have Overlord and the Saracite Brandy, which I think at this point is just quite literally impossible for us to do until we get further along. So, that leaves us with Overlord on the side mission side, then, Kasumi's loyalty mission, and recruiting Archangel, and I'm thinking that although I would very much like to, not recruit, but try to do Kasumi's loyalty mission, it is a tough one, and so we have, of course, done a fair bit as of late to get ourselves leveled up, which should help, but, if we do Overlord now, we could potentially get another level, which could be pretty significant, because at that point, we're talking about probably getting either charge up to 4 or being able to put a bunch of points into pull, and I think either of those could be quite helpful for a particularly difficult mission that we're expecting to do soon. So I say, why not go for Overlord next in that case? And so let's save, because I don't think we did pre that mission, and so might as well do it pre this upcoming mission. So let's check it out. And what, that was very disorienting. Okay. So, are we going in this direction? This is where the mass relay is? It is. Okay. So, back in... Well, it's not in Floydtari, but I assume it's... Oh, nope. Down here. Here we go. Alright. Now, let's head over to where Overlord is. And is it a system that we've already explored? It is, actually, to a certain extent, at least. We have, I think, basically explored all the systems in this cluster that do not have the actual Overlord planet, wherever that is, in it. So we basically should have left it so that that's the only place we need to go here. Okay, so that should mean that, yeah, Typhon over here has 0%. Everything else, I believe, should be at 100%. Just take a quick look around to verify that statement. But I think we should be good in that sense. Okay, before we do so, let's make a point of at least refueling. I know I was saying we probably don't need anything else when it comes to probes for resources, but bear in mind, there are still the occasional times when we will need to use probes to unlock side quests. I mean, we have 22, so if that's the only time we need them at this stage, then don't think we're desperately in need of restocking now, but something to still keep in mind. So let's head on over. And let's see. Oh, it is quite far. Or at least quite a bit further than Salahil. In fact, it almost took half of our fuel just to get here, and of course it's going to take another half to get back. So what is up with that glowy streak on this planet? It's the way that the light from the star is hitting it? Let's see. Ponos. Ponos is a typical hydrogen-helium gas giant. Its once vital helium-3 refining machinery in orbit around the planet was destroyed in one of Ite's many wars, and Ite's extraplanetary trade suffered severely as a result. The dictators of Ite are not pleased with this situation, but they consider it a bad strategic move to be the first to start work on a refinery before eliminating any chance of other nations or planets seizing it. Okay, I mean, we can scan it. Mostly just doing that to see what the deal is, but it's a good resource planet. No anomalies here, so I think, you know, it really doesn't matter. We're definitely not going to launch any probes here, because like we were saying before, I think if we have not already reached the point we're trying to get to from all those resources, we are extremely close, and it may not be, you know, urgent for us to scan for more, and, you know, if we do find ourselves needing a tiny bit more, then we'll just go out and do a little bit of scanning whenever that's the case. Next we have Moros. Moros is a small rock planet with a thin nitrogen and carbon monoxide atmosphere. Each city-state of Ite claims the rights to exploit the planet for its heavy metal deposits. Individual city-state governments maintain 3 small habitats on Moros, as far away from one another as possible. Nevertheless, the planet's wars have extended here, and the habitats infrequently send commando teams to assault each other in small unit actions. Travel advisory. The inhabitants of Moros have set large numbers of anti-personnel and anti-vehicular mines, at common choke points across the planet. I hope we're not landing here. Records of the mines' locations are extremely unreliable. Civilian travel definitely not advised. So there's 27, about 28,000 people over here, and it's quite cold though. We can do a quick scan, and it is a rich planet. So once upon a time, perhaps we'd be interested in trying to get amazing sources of palladium like this. And as I was saying, like that is probably scale breaking, or at least very close to it. But the thing is, if we don't need the resource, like if we already have all the palladium we need, then it is quite literally useless to us. So for that reason, if we happen to pick this, I think it's another separate source. Even I saw a little chunk of Ezo starting to shoot up there. Yeah, but I think Ezo, that's a good source of Ezo. But Ezo is the one where I think positive, or very close to positive, that we already have enough at our current state for basically getting all the possible Ezo upgrades. There's a lot of Ezo here. The one exception being that things like retraining our bonus power to switch it to a different one, that does cost more Ezo. So, if we constantly change it from one mission to the next, then in theory there's an unlimited amount of Ezo that we could theoretically use. But other than that, I think we're doing quite well on that front. And then for the other stuff, if we find ourselves in desperate need of some palladium, or in this case, platinum, then this would be a good place to go for it. So, not that we'll necessarily be keeping note of specific planets for that stuff, but, if we find ourselves in desperate need for those, then we'll scrounge around a little bit and find some more planets to scan for that stuff. Here is Ite, and I believe this is where we were seeing that our mission was technically trying to take us. This is interesting. It's a planet with a ring, but I feel like every time we've seen a planet with a ring in the past, it has always been a gas giant. I'm not sure if there's probably a scientific reason why that's generally the case, but Ite is an Earth-like world with a variety of habitable land ranging from deserts to jungles to tundra. And like you see there, it is definitely not a gas giant. It also possesses faint rings, an unusual feature for a non-gas giant planet. That's what I was saying, or non-giant planet. The rings contain rocks up to a meter in length, perhaps a meter in length, and a wide dust cloud that stretches nearly 23,000 kilometers from the center of the planet. This impressive celestial phenomenon, however, is dwarfed by the fact that Ite's largest moon, Leyte, is in an unstable orbit and is predicted to impact the planet within the next 2 centuries. So that's very soon from a space standpoint, where planets are generally, on the billions of years old. Knowing that any Itian venture is living on borrowed time, colonial population and investment has been orders of magnitude less than other garden worlds. I mean, still, at least from a human lifespan, still a pretty sizable amount of time. But yeah, investing anything long-term is probably not a good idea. But, still, 1.5 million people there. Let's see, and, 20 degrees Celsius, light atmosphere, a little bit light gravity, but it's certainly seems like that'd be livable by all means. Let's see. But before we land here, let's take a look at what I think is the last planet in this area, this unexplored one here, which is Echidna, a so-called hot Neptune planet. Echidna rapidly orbits the star Typhon at a nose-to-nose distance, much like a Pegasid or hot Jupiter. Also like the Pegasids, it is believed to have formed further out and gradually migrated to its present position. Its core is higher in rock content than Sol's Neptune, a consequence of attracting asteroids and other debris as it journeyed through the solar system. It's good in terms of resources, and again, that means we probably won't actually be looking to do anything here. And it does have a somewhat significant amount of Ezo, so if we ever found ourselves in that's good. That's good for Ezo. But, so if we ever found ourselves in desperate need for more of that, then we could theoretically come back here. But as I was saying, particularly with Ezo, I think that's almost certainly not going to be the case unless we just go absolutely bonkers with trying to get a whole bunch of retrained bonus powers. So it's possible, but I think it's unlikely. So that means that leaves us with Ite here, where we are looking to investigate Project Overlord. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at what that is all about, because I'm not sure we've really looked at that very closely. We've, of course, at least briefly mentioned it on our assignments list, but to go into the details, the surface station on the planet Aite, Typhon system, Phoenix massing, has gone off the grid. The elusive man has requested assistance investigating the situation. Travel to the planet, investigate why the Cerberus base there has gone silent. So there's some kind of base where something is going wrong there. We're gonna have to figure out what exactly that is. So, okay, that doesn't give us a lot of information. That is, I suppose, somewhat vague, but we'll still find a way to prepare accordingly. So let's hop in here. And let's actually land. Okay, so when it comes to picking a team here, I'm thinking that, let's see. How about we go for something like, I'm thinking Zaid? Because we'd like to have at least one squad mate that has the squad ammo, and of course he has the squad disruptor ammo, so I think that's a decent option for him. And then, outside of that, I'm thinking either Miranda or Kasumi. We have been using a lot of Kasumi as of late, because, well, she's really, really good. But, there was a time when we were doing a lot with Miranda. We did just take her briefly on that mission in which we basically just demolished the 3 mechs, but that lasted, not terribly long, so, might opt to use her here as well, so let's go for that. And, let's see. So, as we were saying previously, I think for the moment, let's deliberately not spend our skill points, because I'd like to see if we can get maybe one more level, and then once we do that, we'll have the option of going all the way up to charge 4. May not be a bad idea, or, of course, we could just default to loading up a bunch on pull. Miranda, we were just looking at upgrading her. We got her overload up to 2. And I think Taid as well. This was the duo we were taking on our previous mission, in fact. So, well, familiar territory in that case. And when it comes to this time, our heavy weapon ammo, I mean, we actually don't have enough to use the Cain right now, as we were seeing. So remember, the heavy weapon ammo does carry over from one mission to the next. So if we use all of our heavy weapon ammo to destroy 3 of those Yammer mechs, and then we don't have any, that means we start the next mission without any heavy ammo. We didn't quite use all of it, and we did pick up a little bit more at the end of the mission, so we're not at 0 exactly, but it is not currently enough to use the Cain unless we have to pick up more of those power cells. In the past, we haven't thought much of them, because we just haven't used their heavy ammo, but that's something we'll definitely want to try to keep a closer eye on. But it may make sense for us to deliberately throw something else on, at least short term, so that if we do find ourselves wanting to break out some heavy weapons, that we can do so even in the short term. So let's go with maybe the arc projector in that case. And yeah, I think that should suffice. And then Miranda, Zaid, as we were saying previously, they already have, in Zaid's case, the only weapons they can use, in Miranda's case, the best weapons they can use. So this guy may look familiar to you.
Thank God you came. My name is Dr. Gavin Archer. The situation is urgent. We're facing a catastrophic VI breakout.
What?
I'll explain the details later, but you must retract that transmission dish. The controls aren't far from your position. You have to hurry.
Okay. Also, before, and the thing I was alluding to was this hammerhead over here that we were using for all the Firewalker missions. So, Firewalker was the DLC, this is also DLC. Before we go further now, though, in this mission, let me give a few warnings, I guess. This mission gets a little bit graphic. So, heads up, trigger warning for that. Also, if I remember correctly, at various points in this mission, when I first played Mass Effect 2, there was a specific sound effect that was so loud and so nails on a chalkboard grating sound that I almost just said, forget about this mission. Let's go back. I don't ever want to do it. This is a pain. This is not worth it. I may have been overreacting at the time. I don't remember, because I haven't played the game in forever. But, well, we'll just have to see if that's the case. But, you've been forewarned of that as well. Maybe reason, if you are watching here, to, perhaps just turn down your game volume a little bit, just in case. I'm not sure if we are going to find that, if that's even going to be something that happens right off the bat, or perhaps that's later on, but, that is something that I vaguely remember from 8 years ago when, I initially did this, Mass Effect 2, and, I still remember that to this day. So, if that means anything to you, then, that would suggest that perhaps, yeah, if I remembered for all this time without ever having played this game or seen anyone play this game in between that, perhaps it was truly that bad. But anyways, we do have some power cells, so that's good. Oh, we actually... we back up to full? Interesting. Does it actually reset in between missions? Do we start with full? I didn't think so. Maybe it's by switching from the Cain over to this weapon, the arc projector, suddenly we're back on full. I'm not entirely sure why that might be, but okay. Let's see, can we go through here? Does have that symbol there, which is the Cerberus symbol. So that would suggest that, yeah.
This is a secure facility. All weapons must be declared upon entry and checked with security personnel on duty.
Okay. Sure. Do we have anything to actually do with the hammerhead here? I'm not actually sure that we do. It's kind of just sitting here for show at the moment. Perhaps later on. Perhaps later on. Okay.
Be advised, this is a secure facility. All weapons must be declared upon entry and checked with security personnel on duty.
Like the weapons that did that? Because that doesn't look good.
Over here, on the monitor.
Oh! Hello.
There you are. I've locked myself in a computer room on the far side of the base. There are Geth on the loose.
Geth, you say?
The AI program has seized control, and I've lost a lot of friends today. I'd hate to see you join them. Please, watch yourself.
Okay.
Be advised, this is a secure facility.
So, yeah, he said. Of course, one of, if not the most common enemy that we ran into in Mass Effect 1. I don't think we've run into any Geth in Mass Effect 2, to tell you the truth. Oh, look at this. Looks like we can break this. Let's do so with one of our weaker weapons. Yep, that we can. We'll have to see if there's anything actually in there, but in the meantime, one moment while I poke around here a little bit, but we'll definitely want to see what's in there. Besides that dead person, it does look like that's the official way through. Nothing behind the monitor over here? Doesn't look like it? Okay. Let's check out that room that we broke the window in. Casually. Vault over this. And check out Archer's log. Okay, that is, I believe, the name of the person we were just speaking to? Not sure if speaking is technically the right term. If that was that a live chat there? Were we FaceTiming Archer, or was that a pre-recorded message?
Status report. Please inform the elusive man that we've made great strides in our research. His doubts about the lack of progress are unwarranted. A demonstration is forthcoming.
Okay. And we've got a Cerberus terminal, and we can recover some funds. Okay, don't mind if I do. Medical station as well, don't need it, so we'll just get some credits from that. That's fine. So yeah, also, in case you haven't kind of gotten the sense from the music at the moment, yeah, a little bit more of the horror vibes from this mission as well. So definitely has a little bit of a different feel to it than the other missions. Okay. What do we have here? Got another log from Archer. We've got... That's the log. Hold on. What else do we have? We have control panel to retract the dish, which I think is technically what we're supposed to do here. And then we've got this locked door. Let's start with Archer's log, maybe.
Memo to all project personnel.
What?
It's a risk, but the potential reward is far greater. Someday your sons and daughters will thank you.
Handling live Geth, you say? Yeah, we know some people who were trying to ally with Geth, or mess around with Geth, and it didn't end terribly well for them. So, can't imagine things went any better for these guys based on how, well, there's a lot of dead people.